There's a point past which every extra hour of work makes you less productive. Not more tired, actually less productive. You produce less finished work than if you'd simply gotten up and left. A Stanford economist recrunched a famous dataset of factory workers and found it. Past 50 hours a week, the payoff from each new hour collapses. Someone who spent 70 hours working produced about as much as someone who put in 55. 15 hours gone. Yes, that's factory floors, not laptops. But you're about to see why knowledge work is even worse and exactly where your results leak out. We were all taught one equation: more hours, more output. It feels so obvious nobody checks it. Tired? Push through. Behind? Stay later. But the brain isn't a conveyor belt. It doesn't produce in a straight line. It has a curve, a ceiling, and a price for overwork that you pay tomorrow with interest. Ahead, 4 mechanisms by which extra work eats itself. And by the end, you'll see why the most productive people work less than you on purpose. Picture a graph. Hours worked across the bottom, work done up the side. At first, the line climbs. More time, more output makes sense. Then it bends. Each next hour brings less. And at some point, it turns downward. You're still working, but total output drops. You make mistakes you'll redo tomorrow. You make bad calls you'll have to reverse. Psychologists noticed something similar long ago. Back in the early 20th century came an idea, refined many times since. Every hard task has an optimal level of pressure. Too little and you're bored and sluggish. Too much and stress drowns out thinking. The peak sits somewhere in the middle, and it's further left than we assume. It's not about willpower. There's a ceiling past which work subtracts from your results instead of adding. Open the mental list of everything that's hanging. The half-written email, the conversation you need to finish, the task abandoned midway. Feel that background hum? In the 1920s, psychologist Bluma Zygarnik set out to test an old observation, that waiters supposedly remember unpaid orders perfectly and forget them the instant the bill is settled. In her lab experiments, it held up. People recall interrupted, unfinished tasks noticeably better than finished ones. Later studies reproduced it unevenly, but the feeling of an unclosed tab is familiar to everyone. Now add multitasking. Every time you jump from task to task, part of your attention stays stuck on the previous one. Researcher Sophie Leroy called it attention residue. You're already writing the report, but a chunk of your brain is still finishing that email. The result? You start the new task at maybe 60% capacity. And the more you keep open at once, the less brain each one gets. You're not slow. You almost never work with a whole brain. Half of it is busy with loose ends. Admit it, sometimes work is a way to avoid the real work. Clearing your inbox instead of the hard project. Rearranging tasks in your planner. Answering the 10th message. You're drenched in effort and you haven't moved an inch. They call it productivity theater. Busyness that looks like work, feels like work, but produces nothing. And often it's disguised procrastination. Starting on the important, difficult thing is scary, so your brain hands you a pile of small, easy things. You're busy, your conscience is calm, output is zero. There's a sharp observation, known as Parkinson's law. Work expands to fill exactly the time you give it. Give a task the whole day, it takes the whole day. Give it 2 hours, you're done in 2. The longer you sit, the more water pours into every task. Part of your working hours is flight from work. And the longer you sit, the easier it is to hide in that flight. Here's where overwork really bites. You take hours from sleep and think you got them for free. You didn't. Scientists measured it literally. After 17 hours awake, your attention and reaction times drop as if you had a blood alcohol level of 0.05, already over the limit for driving. After a full day awake, it's around 0.1. And the whole time, you feel fine, you overwork today and borrow from tomorrow's self. Tomorrow you're slower, foggier, quicker to snap. You do the work worse and slower. And to catch up, you stay late again. The loop tightens. Overwork isn't a deposit into your results. It's a loan at a brutal interest rate and you pay it back with tomorrow's head. Now the levers. 3 of them, each hitting one mechanism. First, work in short waves, not marathons. There's a popular idea. The brain holds focus in cycles of about 90 minutes, then asks for a dip. For sleep, those cycles are well confirmed. For daytime work, it's still more of a hypothesis, but in practice, 90 minutes of deep work, then a real break, screen off simply works. For such waves, we'll do more than 10 hours of thick sludge. Second, close one loop at a time. Remember the unclosed tabs? Finish a task before you open the next. 1 front carried to the end frees your brain. 5 abandoned midway hold you hostage. Third, set a hard stop. Not I'll work as long as it takes, but at 6 the laptop closes. A deadline flips Parkinson's law in your favor. Time compresses, and suddenly you finish what you'd have stretched across the whole evening. Fewer hours, fewer open fronts, a hard boundary, and output goes up, not down. Productivity was never measured in hours at the desk. It's measured in closed loops and recovered attention. More hours means more open tabs, more theater, more debt. Fewer fronts, a whole brain, a hard boundary, that's what actually moves things. So next time you want just one more hour, remember the curve. Maybe the most productive move right now is to stand up and leave. Tell me in the comments, what's your extra hour that actually runs at a loss? I'm genuinely curious where people's time leaks. And if you want the map that shows exactly where your hours drain each day, I put it together in one breakdown. I'll say how to grab it in the pinned comment. Subscribe so you don't lose it.